As I covered in my most recent video, inventory across the GTA and Toronto real estate market is piling up. We saw a 44% increase in total new listings as of the most recent complete month, where we had around 16,000 new listings, and that's not accounting for active inventory. The active inventory figure was higher as well. And this increase in inventory, this increase in people listing their property on the Toronto real estate market for sale is occurring while sales are dropping. So naturally, there are a lot of properties that are going to be on the market for a long time. So in today's video, I thought, why not dig deeper in terms of how many properties are staying on the market for a very long time across the GTA, go through some of them and talk about why they've been on the market for a long time. And this is also a method where usually you can apply it for a buyer to find motivated or distressed sales. It's just one criteria, but it does help point you towards the right direction if you're looking for a motivated seller. But before we get into that, hello everyone. As always, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate. If you're new to the channel, on this channel we like to discuss all things Toronto and GTA real estate market oriented, market stats, market trends, buyer advice, seller advice, condo reviews, area analysis, pre-construction previews, and so much more. If you find any of this content informative or enjoyable, feel free to subscribe. Or if you have any inquiries with regards to the Toronto and GTA real estate market, after all, I am an active Toronto and GTA real estate agent. I've met many of my clients from this page and my other social media channels as well. Feel free to get in touch with me with any questions you may have or any inquiries. Lastly, join the exclusive WhatsApp group where I share across a ton of interesting market stats and market reports in preparation for these videos. The link is in the description. Enough of that, let's get to the point of today's video. I thought to set the table, first let's take a look at the average days on market. Now, the average days on market right now that I'm going to be referring to is as of September 2023. Of course, at the time of recording of this video, it's October 10th. We're only 10 days into October after a long weekend as well here in Canada. So we're not losing out on much if we just refer to the data we have as of the 1st of October. And right now, as it stands, the average days on market across the GTA, across all property types, stands at an average days of 30. This represented actually a 14% decline year over year of 35. Last year, same time, the average days on market was higher at 35. So now that we have access to the average and we know what the average is, we know kind of what to expect, right? What is a high number? What is a very good number? And using the MLS system, and for your information, this is the system that most real estate agents use. This is what I use to derive my stats, my market reports, my market updates, research and preparation for clients, research and preparation for these videos, and obviously to look up listings for my buyers and upload listings for my seller clients, or look at comps. Use it for everything pretty much. My whole life and business depends on this MLS system. So I'm going to show you right now how many properties are currently on the market that have been on the market for longer, let's say, than the average, right? Once again, 30 days. And for this, we're gonna look at both freehold and condos. And let's just select the entirety of the GTA. Of course, we need to add the days on market category. Here we have days on market. We're gonna add a minimum of 30 days, right? So across the greater Toronto area, the expansive swath of land that is the GTA, as you guys can see, if we just search based upon how many properties have been on market for minimum 30 days, we get a result of 7,614. Now, this is where I would like to pause and explain a little bit more about this. This is not the best metric. This metric does have some room for nuance, right? For instance, one of my most recent sales, we sold the property when the buyer signed everything and it was a done deal. We sold it on Tuesday, right? A Tuesday. This was a property I sold just last week. We sold it on Tuesday. Well, the sale didn't get reported due to various factors, such as first and foremost, waiting on the deposit from the buyer, right? Because it doesn't mean anything until you get the deposit. That means absolutely nothing until you get the deposit. So waiting upon the deposit, some paperwork, and for the deposit to settle in my brokerage's account. By the time I reported the sale, the earliest opportunity I had to report the sale was Thursday morning. So on the listing, it's going to actually add 2 additional days on top of what it actually took to sell the property. So you have to keep that in mind as well. So since 30 days, some properties could have sold within 30 days, only got reported on the 32nd day of the listing. Let's take a look at properties that have been on the market for at least 2 months, which is 60 days. We see now, once we increase it to 60 days, we still have a result of 3,433. These are active properties, both condos and freeholds, that have been on the market for a minimum of 60 days. If we extend that to 3 months, 90 days, we still have 1,500, close to 1,600 actually, listings currently on the market that have been on the market for 90 days minimum. This is minimum. And if we really want to get extreme with it, we do 120 days and we see still 804 active listings currently on the market that have been on the market for sale at minimum 120 days. Now, of course, this also doesn't account for something as well, which is another route a lot of people go through when the property is having a hard time selling, which is terminating the listing, right? At times, people list the property, they see they don't get much traction. Instead of just reducing the price of that very listing, or in the case of a failed bidding war, increasing the price of that listing, they just terminate the listing and put a new listing up, right? I can spend a whole entire other video going through termination. In fact, let's quickly actually take a look at how many listings have terminated in the past couple of weeks. To see this, we simply have to go to unavailable listings for sale. We bring up this page. Once again, let's take a look at the entirety of the GTA. For a reference point, we expand our search criteria based upon last status. And then we want to look at the most recent weeks. Let's say we want to look at it based upon the time where it was listed. So we select contract date, which is equivalent to listing date. So let's take a look at listings since September 1st. How many listings since September 1st have terminated at least once, if not twice, across the entirety of the Toronto and GTA real estate market? And we just simply select here TER, which stands for terminated. And we see when we do as such, we see 2,913. Now you might be wondering, are all listings staying on market for a very long time? Of course, no, that's not happening. There are still properties that are listed in low inventory, high demand pockets, communities, or buildings that are still selling faster than you would think. Obviously, due to current market conditions, those properties are the exception, but there are still homes that are able to sell for a very good price given today's context, right? Not very good price compared to even early 2023. Of course, not even compared to 2022 when the market peaked in early 2022, but relative to current market conditions, there are still listings that can garner a lot of attention and sell for a decent price and in a decent amount of time, simply due to the fact that the community, the neighborhood, that given block or that given building is in high demand and the inventory is low. And I really don't mean to do this and shoehorn my business when I'm buying and selling, but it's just a great example of it, right? On this channel, I always go based upon both the numbers and my personal business on the ground representing sellers and buyers. The property I sold last week, it was only on the market for 9 to 11 days, and that was because it was the only thing listed within, I would say, a 1.2 kilometer radius. And that 1.2 kilometer radius is a very confined pocket of residential streets surrounded by parks. There isn't a lot of inventory there. There is actually a lot of demand there. It was a semi-detached property in Markham near the IBM head offices, and we had very little to no competition for what we were selling. As a result, we managed to sell it in less than 11 days, and that is still happening across the market. It's just happening less, and it's highly dependent on how much inventory there is around you. To see how many of those examples are happening outside of the example I gave you of my business, let's take a look at properties that have sold, so that are unavailable. To do this, we once again select the entirety of the GTA here. We go based upon last status once again, as we did for the terminated. For last status here, we obviously select sold, which I'm having a hard time finding right now. And for last status, we select sold. And let's just once again take a look at it from the same time we took a look at the terminated since September 1st. And we will now toggle once again the days on market. And I think if a property is selling in today's market, what's considered a pretty fast sale, like something that actually moves pretty quickly, I would say is anything less than 15 days. And we see since September 1st, there have been only 2,700 properties that have sold in less than 15 days. Now, this doesn't mean anything with regards to if it's sold for a proper price or not. Like, you can sell something really fast if you're selling it way below market value, or you're taking a massive loss on it because you just have to offload it. So this in of itself does not say anything about the quality of sales, just that there have been only 2,700 properties that have sold for less than 15 days, and 15 days in today's market, I think, is a pretty fast sale. Now, I thought it would be very interesting to see the properties that have been on the market for the longest of periods of time. As always, I can't just look at the entirety of the GTA. Let's now take a look at a community, for instance, that I'm very interested in because I have a lot of buyers right now looking at that area, which is Mississauga. Let's take a look at properties in Mississauga as part of the GTA that have been on the market for the longest period of time. Here we see, for instance, simply here we have to select Peel. We go to Mississauga. We now toggle once again days on market, and let's put the minimum of 120, and we get 42 results here. So across the entirety of Mississauga, there's 42 listings currently on the market at the time of recording of this video that have been on the market for at least 120 days. Let's submit and take a look at these properties. So off the bat, some of them are understandable. Like, for instance, you have this property in Mississauga that is listed for $29 million. In any market, a property that's listed for $29 million, for $24 million, for $10 million, for $6 million, even for $5 million, that property is going to stay on market for a long time. And even in the hottest of markets, maybe not, in a really hot market, maybe not the properties that are listed around the $5 to $6 million range, but definitely the ones that are listed for $29 million. Even in the most pure scorching hot market, that property is not going to sell fast. So of those amount of listings, I selected a couple to go through in more detail. As always, I like to use this as a jumping off point to discuss a little bit more about the market, the building, the area. Let's take a look at some of these properties that have been on the market for at least 120 days, and you'll see from the days on market that that's actually on the lower side for these. So here we have the list. For instance, off the bat, we see like a building that I don't like at all, which is 50 Absolute Avenue. No offense to anyone who lives in that building or any of my clients who own a unit in that building, just my own professional opinion. This property has been on the market for 125 days. We see an asking price of $525,000, and the buildings look somewhat pretty. They're a very interesting design. That's frankly one of the best qualities about the buildings. But as you can see, right, this has been on the market for 124 days. The maintenance is $740. The square footage is only $6 to $699. I can probably find the accurate square footage if I looked a little bit deeper, but it's definitely more than $1 per square foot in terms of the maintenance. And in today's downward trending market, this is not going to cut it. We see another listing, for instance, here that we have. Now, this is an old unit. This has been on the market for 123 days. Another condo unit, asking for $629,000. And although the maintenance is very high, once again, common theme, $1,061 is actually not even $1 per square foot like the Absolute Avenue unit was, because this is the actual square footage is 1,100 square feet. So it's less than $1 per square foot, at least you can say. But once again, in today's market, older units and older buildings with higher maintenance have a harder time selling. And I haven't looked into the pricing of this unit, but I would have to guess that this unit is not priced properly whatsoever, because a lot of units I went through, I looked at the actual comps, and part of the reason they're on the market is not only because it's a downward trending market, but because they're absolutely priced in a ridiculous fashion. Here we have a building I actually really like, which is 4090 Living Arts Drive, Unit 2603. It's one of the better buildings around the Square One area. I would probably have to say one of the best buildings. Not a perfect building, once again, but one of the better ones. This has been on the market for 235 days. It's a 2+1 with 2 washrooms, listed for $789,000. And then you have a listing such as this one, 1051 West Avenue in Lakeview Peel. Lakeview Peel is my favorite community. of the Mississauga area. I love Mississauga south of the QW. So it's a really good area. But the reason this has been on the market for 146 days, the asking of 1.2 for a 44 by 125 lot is not going to cut it for you right now. And the reason I focus on the size of the land is because this is probably a tear down, right? This is a lot value only property. And despite the fact that right now builders can get land for cheap, a lot of builders are gun shy, at least those who are not acting with a lot of liquid funds, because some have to actually get loans, get construction loans to tear something down and build it as well, right? Not all builders build with cash, as you know. Once again, 44 by 125, even though it is a corner lot, is not going to cut it at 1.2. That's why it's been on the market for a long time. Anyways, I hope this video gave you an idea of how long properties are staying on market, the properties that have been on the market for the longest, why they've been on the market for the longest. It's a combination of high maintenance, high-end properties, and lot value properties as it comes to Mississauga, the point of reference for this video. But I could easily be taking a look at another area such as downtown, midtown, North York, York region, Richmond Hill, so on and so forth. As always, for more on the Toronto real estate market, feel free to follow me for more, subscribe to this channel for more on the market, get in touch with me with any further questions. A lot of interesting and cool content coming out for you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.